Okay, we're live. Hello, everyone, and this is Kristen. Welcome to the Polkadot broadcast, and this is the August Roundtable. And join me today was Tiny, the product manager of Mimer, and Alberto, and the founder of Papermoon. And welcome you guys. And for this episode, and we will focus on some important technical breakthroughs, shaping the Polkadot ecosystem, the multi-sign, the bridging, the virtual machines. And before we dive in, and can I ask each of you to briefly introduce yourself and share a little about your background? Whoever wants to kick things off, feel free to start.
I can start. Yeah,
Okay.
thank you, Kristen, for the intro. So yeah, I'm Alberto. I am the founder of Paper Moon, as you mentioned before. I joined the Moonbeam project very early on. I was part of the Moonbeam launch team, and I've been in the Polkadot ecosystem almost 5 years. Wow, time
Oh,
flies. So yeah, I've been mostly doing developer relations in the Polkadot ecosystem. Sorry, for Moonbeam, but then a little over a year ago, we started working with the Web3 Foundation and the Parity team via a Web3 Foundation grant to help on the Polkadot documentation and improve a little bit of the developer experience on the general Polkadot ecosystem.
yeah, really, time flies. It's been 5 years. Okay, welcome, Albert. And next, let's welcome Tiny.
Oh, hi, good to meet you. It's my first time to be here, and I'm very glad to be here. I'm the product manager of Mimir, a multi-sig solution in Polkadot ecosystem. And now we have already integrated 12 third-party apps and offering advanced security checks like
Mhm.
multi-chain account verification, cross-chain simulation, and risk alerts. Until now, over 16 million assets are managed through Mimia by top DAO, DV, and bounty creator for transfer, voting, staking, and other key operations. And yeah, it's me and our product Mimia.
Okay, welcome. And Sean, welcome. And we're just get started in our first introduction section. So, could you introduce yourself and your background a little bit to our audience?
Yeah, thank you for having me. My name is Sheon Lanage, and I'm the co-founder of Polkadot Labs. And Polkadot Labs is, well, the blockchain research lab behind Hyperbridge. A little bit about me, I've been in crypto since 2017. Used to be at Parity, working on Ethereum, Polkadot, and yeah, all-around shitposter.
Okay. I think your voice a little bit low on my side. So, okay, cool. And let's kick things off. So today's roundtable is about all about breakthroughs. So in the first section, I would invite Tiny and Shawan to share what's the most exciting breakthrough you've seen or delivered in your specific areas. So Shawan and Tiny, feel free to jump in first.
I can, I can start, I
Mhm.
guess.
Okay.
I think for me, the biggest thing that we've achieved recently was developing a tournament light client.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's a lot of blockchains that have the tournament consensus engine, especially Cosmos SDK chains. And so this light client actually is a huge step forward for Hyperbridge because it opens up Hyperbridge to this world of tournament-based Cosmos SDK chains, chains like Say, Chronos, even new chains like the upcoming stable blockchain for stablecoins, Noble, and really recently Polygon, which also is a technically a Cosmos SDK chain as well. So this
Mm-hmm.
is very exciting for us. As you can see, it opens up us to a world of new chains, and we're now exploring these partnerships and exploring these opportunities. So that's like some of the biggest news that I have to share.
Yes, it's great to share. So Tiny, uh,
Yeah, for me and our product, I have introduced some part of the achievement we have made recently, like the total asset in management by Mimir, and also some new apps we have integrated. And about I noticed the topic of today is about like Gem and the Polkadot Hub. So in these two areas, we focus more on Polkadot Hub strategy, and now we have launched both PVM and trying to launch EVM multi-sig apps. And also another big thing is asset hub migration. We have finished all this testing, and we are ready for the rollout with upcoming update on Peso, Polkadot, and Kusama. Yeah.
yeah, okay. Thanks for sharing. And as Tiny shared that the Polkadot Hub and Gem are the big technical directions in Polkadot ecosystems. So uh, how about you guys share, what you are preparing for these directions? I want to invite Albert to share because a paperman is specialized in developer relationship and can help project in every phase of their project. So, what preparations have you done for the Polkadot Hub and Jam?
Yeah, I would focus first on Hub because I think Yam, it's a little bit still down the road, right? And like it, for us to be able to help developers, we need to understand the interfaces that developers will need to be able to work with Jam. So I'll definitely focus it on Hub, right? So Hub is the idea that Polkadot will now offer multiple services. I think I have a problem with the camera. I don't know. We'll fix it later. But yeah, Polkadot has a set of services that it's offering, right? And the idea of Hub is that those services will be abstracted from chains, right? So you don't have to think that now you'll have smart contracts, you also have identity, you'll have core time, everything trying to be embedded into a single kind of idea or chain, right? So you don't have to think about it as sort of like, yeah, you have for core time you have to go to a chain, for smart contracts you have to go to another chain. So, the main headline that people are listening or hearing about is the idea of smart contracts coming to Hub, right? But Hub
Mhm.
is a lot more than smart contracts. So now let's focus on the smart contracts, right? So the idea is that Hub will have two backends or two virtual machines. So for people building smart contracts, they can pick whichever virtual machine they want. There'll be a full EVM implementation, the REVM. Um, which the idea is that it's full Ethereum compatible. You can run the same smart contracts with no changes at all. And then you have the Polka VM, which is a RISC-V based virtual machine. What this means is that you can do a lot more complex logic. It's computational heavily logic can be targeted to the Polka VM. But the idea is that these two VMs will work side by side. One targeting a little bit more that native compatibility with minimal to no changes, and Polka VM being RISC-V based, a little bit more extensible, and not a sandbox environment like the EVM is. So what we're trying to do from a developer relations perspective is how we present this information to smart contract developers, because now it'll create a little bit of complexity, right? So as a smart contract developer, which VM do you choose? What path do you have to deploy on each of the VMs? And like the idea that we're trying to do is basically that a single path can be taken. For example, deploy a smart contract using hard hat, but then you can just choose whatever VM you want, and then we'll show you the path toward that VM. But yeah, it's pretty exciting stuff because this is the first time there'll be a native smart contract platform using DOT as a fee token that is basically controlled by the Polkadot governance. So super cool.
Yes, really exciting to hear. So I think Albert work could help a lot for Shawan for bridging, to integrating to the Polkadot Hub. So what preparations have you done for the Polkadot Hub?
Yeah, actually, it's very funny because we're currently in the middle of some of the work that we're doing for Hub. So we envision Hyperbridge as being natively integrated into the hub. So you can imagine the Hyperbridge palettes are available on the hub, and there are going to be precompiles that allow smart contracts within Palette Revive, within Polka VM, within the REVM to be able to interact with the ISMP palettes on the host and can allow them to send and receive cross-chain messages. Now, this is by far the easiest integration route, and that's why we're going with this. We're almost done. I have a PR open on the Hyperbridge repo for those of us who are technically inclined to go check it out. Most of the work is done. I think there's just some stuff that needs to change in Palette Revive, and we can get that merged, and we can start testing on like Passet Hub and Paseo, and eventually get that on mainnet.
John,
Okay.
I have a question. You guys, I mean, this will depend on governance, right? Like governance, sort of accepting the palette integration, but you guys could also take the route of the smart contract integration, right? Like that it's fully permissionless because you can deploy. But I mean, it makes little sense, right? Because you're a Polkadot service, let's say. But is it possible to also do this the smart contract route, or do you need to do the integrations via palette?
No, it is possible to do a smart contract integration, but it's just going to be expensive for us to do so. As you know, Hyperbridge needs to constantly do consensus proofs, which means we need to update the state of Polkadot on Asset Hub and pay for that, right? Which really doesn't make much sense. Where if there's a palette integration, then the palettes actually read the state of Hyperbridge directly from the relay chain, and there's zero cost attached to doing this, right? And there's other benefits as well. Some of our infrastructure will not need to change very dramatically because we will basically treat the Asset Hub chain not as an EVM chain, but as a substrate chain. And all of our, the rest of our tooling will continue to work as normal, like our indexers, for instance, our Explorer, our SDKs as well. But in this weird case where, okay, it's using Polkadot consensus, but it's also an EVM chain, it does throw off a lot of our tooling. And so that's kind of how we see it. But I mean, the integration, like you said, depends on governance, but I believe governance has already technically approved Hyperbridge as its native bridge. So I think we also have governance on our side there.
Cool. Well, I was just curious, like what would happen in the weirdest scenario. But yeah, I agree with you. Making like the integrations via palettes makes a lot more sense because it's just a lot of overhead that it's like unnecessary end of day, right? You guys being part of the Polkadot ecosystem, it's impossible to do it, in Ethereum or in Polygon or whatever because those are not part of the Polkadot consensus, and you cannot get the proofs there, right? But yeah, all right, thanks. Interesting.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Yeah, very good to hear. So, okay, we also gather some specific detailed questions from our community for each of you guys. So first to Alberto, and Alberto, let's start from REVM. Since it's fully EVM compatible, once it launches, which projects do you think we will see deploying on it first?
Yeah, that's a great question, and I want to take a step back, right? So there are two things that are important here. One is called Ethereum compatibility, and the other one is EVM compatibility, right? And so Ethereum compatibility, it's still incorrect, but for the sake of the discussion, it's fine. It's basically usually it's referred to I can use Ethereum tools on Hub. Okay, so with Polka VM it was Ethereum compatible. So you could connect MetaMask, you could use Hard Hat, you could use Foundry. There's some modifications that needed to be done, but it was Ethereum compatible, right? With the introduction of REVM, what was targeting is Ethereum EVM compatibility, right? The idea of EVM compatibility is that you can grab a Solidity or Viper or whatever language that compiles to EVM bytecode, contract, compile it, and launch it on Hub. So REVM brought the idea of EVM compatibility, okay? And so now that we have 100% EVM compatibility, I believe personally that usually the first projects that deploy are typically DeFi oriented, right? Because the backbone of a lot of chains is having a robust DeFi ecosystem so that people can, for example, if you want to do cross swaps payments, you need DEX pools, right? And so usually, and we saw that with Moonbeam, right? With Moonbeam, when Moonbeam was launched, like the first projects that we actually never spoke with them or anything were the DEXs, basically, right? You got CellSwap, BeamSwap, Solarflare. They came out of blue and they deployed because it's like the first thing that people demand out of a smart contract compatible chain. And so I expect that once this is launched, we will see probably some DeFi primitives being built and being deployed, and then slowly we'll see other things popping up, like NFTs and games and things like that. But normally, DeFi would be the first.
How long will it take for a project to deploy on it?
I mean, truth be told, it can be a matter of an hour, right? It's it just depends on how Ethereum compatible and EVM compatible the chain is at launch. At the end of the day, you can have everything already tested in testnet, and when this is live in Polkadot, it can be just like, okay, Polkadot RPC endpoint, boom, deploy the contracts, and that's it. We saw that, like I said, with Moonbeam and Moonriver, that even in Moonriver, I was not able to deploy the wrap mover token, which is a smart contract that is like fundamental for DeFi, because a project already deployed it before me, and like it was like not even an hour it took, right? So at the end of the day, it's just basically it just depends on the teams themselves, but it's usually pretty quick after going live. So yeah.
Okay, cool. At the same time, Polkadot is developing Polka VM, which is PVM. And could you walk us through, how our EVM and PVM differ, in their design goals and the kinds of projects they are meant to serve, and why do we need both? So
yeah, that's a great question. I'm going to give you my perspective on things, right? Because different people might have different opinions, but the idea of a PVM is that it's more future proof, right? We're seeing things being discussed in the Ethereum forums of like, should we move to a RISC-V based VM? Because it's more flexible, it's more future proof. The EVM is very what they call sandbox. In the EVM, you have these things is what you can do, and that's it. And people have found ways to create really creative projects out of the things you can do with the EVM. But at the end of the day, RISC-V is more future-proof. It's more cutting edge, right, and things like that. And so initially, the idea was, okay, I want to have a Polka VM-based smart contract platform, but I want to be able to use Ethereum tools and use Solidity, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when the team started developing this, they found a lot of blockers, basically, right? Because, for example, just to give you a super simple example, if I compile a ERC20 token smart contract via an EVM compiler, it weighted, I don't know, 10, just a number, right, without units. And then if I would grab the same contract and I would compile it to RISC-V bytecode, it would weigh 8 times more, right? And so an ERC20 token contract is super simple, but imagine a complex logic, right? A Aave or a Uniswap, right? Compiling Aave and Uniswap to RISC-V was a super huge challenge because the bytecode size, the size of the programs were huge. And so we started seeing a lot of sort of like blockers of having then a smart contract platform with a Polka VM and bring these teams that are already well known, have already really trusted code bases like Aave, Uniswap, Morpho, whatever, bring them to Polka VM because there were a lot of blockers basically. And so that's why like the EVM, the REVM was introduced so that people have a virtual machine that can target a blue chip projects or teams so that they can come and deploy with minimal changes, right? And so that's why we ended up with two virtual machines. One that is more future-proof, it's better to do heavy computational things, more flexible in what you can do with it. But then the other one, it's more sandbox, EVM compatible, plug and play for, I don't know, 90 or 80% of the teams doing smart contracts in Web3 nowadays.
Okay, yeah. our PVMs so much future proof, and how is PVM progressing so far? And and another question is once it goes live, do you see these two virtual machine coexisting, or do you think one could eventually replace the other?
Yeah, and that's a great question. So, I think right now, I mean, per what I read in the forums, right, this is all public information, is that the focus right now is to launch our EVM. The first version of the Polka VM, it's already live in Kusama. Um, it is somewhat limited in terms of Ethereum tooling, right, that you can use. That's still being worked on and developed, but the majority of the focus is to ship the REVM to Polkadot, right? Because
Mhm.
there's a heavier lift to be done on that front. The idea, I believe, is that they're going to coexist, right? They're gonna exist in parallel because, like I said, I think they're targeting different things, right? One of them is targeting EVM compatibility. Come, bring your projects, deploy them, all good. And the other one is targeting future-proof, cutting-edge VM, RISC-V bytecode, or not RISC-V bytecode, but yeah, at the end of the day, it's more performant at the end of the day, right? And so, uh, the idea of them coexisting is that you can have an EVM based smart contract that can offload some computational stuff to the RISC-V VM, right? So that at the end of the day, they can coexist and work together.
Okay, I think Risk 5 is the uh, is the a very important part of the PVM, and which is also Ethereum is working on. Do you know how faster can PVM goes live than EVM?
I mean, truth be told, the numbers that I've seen were not like really optimized, right? So like sharing numbers right now, it's not great because like it's like comparing the EVM has been what developed for how many years? I think 10 years already, right?
Mhm.
And this RISC-V VMs are fairly new, and so it's really hard to compare one to the other right now because you're talking about a much more robust product, right?
Mhm.
That has been developed for years and years with something that is cutting edge and new. But I mean, you've seen what Polka VM is able to do. I mean, there was a super famous tweet about Doom running on Polka VM, right? You cannot do that on an EVM. It's impossible. And so, at the end of the day, I would say the first things are not going to be about performance, but it's going to be about what you can do in that VM
Okay.
compared to EVM. Remember that, like I said, the EVM, it's a sandbox environment in which it's very limited on the things that you can do with it. So
Okay. Cool. Agree with you. And thank you for sharing. And now let's move to Shawn. And you are an old friend of Polkadot, and we know a lot about Hyperbridge. And Hyperbridge are already live and has introduced some breakthrough innovations in bridging. But you know, you've said on Twitter, on X, and coding is the easy part. So comes next, and what is the not easy part for you?
Yeah, no, I was actually referring to something else with that tweet, but yeah, for sure. I guess it generally applies that like writing code is the easy part, but like everything else, this marketing, product development, BD, these are all very very tough challenges.
Mhm.
Our major like milestone, upcoming milestone would be TGE. Finally, I know everyone's been waiting. Community members, our partners, our investors as well. Yeah, so we've been mostly working towards TGE. For us, TGE doesn't just mean the token is going live, but it's also, okay, how can we actually properly decentralize Hyperbridge, right? Because otherwise, if the token doesn't have any like, real use cases, we already know what happens, right? So that's kind of been our major focus, and I'm really glad we should be TGEing, in the coming weeks. So
Mhm.
not months, weeks. So we already have a lot of things in place. We have our OpenGov in place. We also have incentives in place for relayers who will relay messages and relay consensus proofs to Hyperbridge. So if you want to start making bridge, like if you want to start earning bridge tokens, like just jump in the docs and look at how to spin up a consensus relayer, how to spin up a messaging relayer as well. These are the ways you would be able to earn bridge. Like there's really nothing else. We're going sort of going with the Bitcoin model of like having a decentralized network of people who contribute some work to the network in order to earn the tokens. And then that work, of course, is useful for the network, right? Because it serves users, it serves applications, and of course, these things provide value, right? So that's pretty much, yeah, been our major focus. Also working with like our partners, macro makers, exchanges, the whole works. It's not been very easy. I've just been on calls like this whole week. So I don't know if you can see my eyes are kind of burnt out, but I think we can get there.
Okay, to be clear, and next week and not next month. It's very
I
soon.
said I said in the coming weeks, not in the
Oh,
coming
weeks.
months.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
in the coming
Sorry.
weeks.
There are X. Okay. And yeah, the BD and the marketing part is not easy. And I saw that there are incentive going on Hyperbridge, and it performs good, right? It achieved 1 million transactions within 24 hours.
Yeah, no, that was very, very exciting to see. The DOT token is now sort of officially available across all the different major EVM liquidity hubs, and that's been very exciting. Lots of people have been asking for this, especially in the Hyperbridge community. And yeah, we're just really, really happy to be able to serve the community with the technology that we've built, right? Like it's no longer some theoretical secure bridge. It's something that's actually a real bridge in the real world that's helping real people. I'm also very excited about our upcoming Intense protocol, which will open up Hyperbridge. So like, USDC, USDT, all these different tokens across major EVM liquidity hubs. And I really think we can take some market share there as well. Our product is revolutionary in the sense that like, unlike existing intense products where potentially if there's no liquidity on the other side, your transaction is just permanently stuck, right? Like you have to go into the Discord, you got to go beg someone to give you your money back. But for people who are already experienced with using Hyperbridge, you already know that like you don't have to come to our Discord. If transactions are not successful, there's always a timeout and you can always get your money back. So that will carry on into our swaps product as well, and you always retain full control of your assets at all times. So really excited about disrupting that space as well.
Okay, very good to hear. So, if I didn't get it wrong, so the incentive plan's going to run for 12 months, right?
So for the DOT token incentives, yes, the token treasury approved incentives for 12 months. But the thing is, the Bifrost team and us, we have the sort of liberty to distribute these incentives on the chains that we see are doing the most volume. So right now we kind of spread these incentives thinly across Arbitrum, Base, BNB, Ethereum, just to kind of see where people are. But we're already seeing huge like market fit-ish on BNB chain, which already has the Binance Peg Dot, like over $60 million worth of Binance Peg Dot. And we're also seeing lots of people swapping this Binance Peg Dot for the official DOT token so that they can bridge back and actually leverage the Polkadot DeFi ecosystem. So that's very exciting. And we're also seeing lots of activity on Base as well. So that's also very exciting. And maybe in the next sort of 3 months, we will specifically focus on these two ecosystems and have all the incentives be on these two ecosystems. So there's much deeper liquidity for users and applications in these ecosystems. And that's kind of how we're thinking about it, just so that we can sort of create this DeFi flywheel, right? Like the whole point is to expand the DeFi opportunities for DOT. And yeah, we're starting to see these things happen.
Oh, okay, cool. Very good to hear. I also saw you attending a lot of, event. So, what cooperations, are you looking for, in the coming days?
Well, right now, just trying to onboard as much liquidity providers for the Intense protocol. Yeah, that's pretty much been our major focus. Of course, we're also trying to also talk to asset issuers, whether that's like investment banks like UBS or just like everyday like asset issuers, who definitely want their assets to be, cross-chain and multi-chain to do
Mhm,
so like natively on Hyperbridge. So these are like our two major focuses.
mhm. Okay, thank you, Sean. And now let's move to Tiny. And the first question is uh, even though the Mimer's multi-sign technology already been adopted by many major ecosystem and project and help DAOs solve treasury management challenges, but let me put a challenge to you. Sean and Hyperbridge argued that multi-sign is vulnerable and prone to attacks. How do you respond to that?
Yeah, it's a great question, and we have given it a lot of thoughts, especially Mimir had delivered substrate and EVM multisig. I think since and for us, multisig users, asset security is always our top priority. So from our view, compromises in multi-sig security mainly come from two areas. The first is on-chain logic. The second is front-end risk. So for the on-chain logic, like weakness in runtime or contract logic, both substrate multisig and pallet and safe have been lived for over 5 years without a single logic level attack. So combined with audit report, we believe that their security is stood for the test of time. And about front-end risk, yeah, I think UI compromise that sometimes mislead users. Like at Mimir, front-end deployment goes through a strict security checks, raising like raising the attack threshold significantly. Unlike Safe, which collects signature off-chain before submission, Substrate multisig record every approval on-chain. So this ensures any multisig product that sync for approval process and make it easier for users to cross-check transaction across different tools. Like you can check in Mimir, and also you can check in Multix, also other multisig tool. And for further risk of like transaction data, we provide a core data decoder, and you can check it during submit transaction, and it will let you know the raw data of your what you are doing. And also, we integrate tool like .console and enable users to verify their transaction is securely inside Mimir. And also, we have transaction simulation. You will know what the result of this transaction, like your account asset changes before you approve or initiate this transaction. I think sometimes multi-sig security come from like people. Maybe you ignore some of members don't take it very seriously, and they just approve without work through all these transactions. So sometimes it brings some risk, actually. And also for the upcoming safe compatible multisig, we will follow safe design principle. Like we will have a transaction simulation, and also we will release an independent third-party text transaction verifier to give users maximize the assurance for the safety of offline signed multisig asset. Yeah.
Okay, thanks for sharing. And Sean, what do you think of that? Maybe a bridge and a wallet are used in the different scenarios, so they cannot compare in the same level.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like a bridge and a wallet are completely two different applications. But that doesn't change the fact that multisigs are still honeypots. And as we see with the recent safe hack with Bybit, with over like 1 point something billion lost, they pretty much tend to be honeypots. They pretty much tend to be like the focus for attackers and sort of unsavory characters who are trying to make a quick buck, right? So, especially in the case of bridges, where we know that these signers are online, right? I guess you could argue in the case of a multi-sig, maybe the signers are offline on a hardware wallet. But for a bridge, the signers are most definitely online because they're responding to online transactions and they're signing, bridge attestations. This is even more dangerous, right? Because now you're open to like attacks over the internet, maybe some SSH, 0-day vulnerabilities happens and like it's goodbye, all the money in your bridge. Or people in the team, like people internally as well, who just compromise your network. So it's very important to be aware of the underlying security mechanisms of different bridges and also, understand what are the risks involved. I made a tweet recently that like people are bridging like thousands of dollars through Hyperbridge. I saw someone bridge like a 50K transaction through Hyperbridge. This person did this with the full understanding that Hyperbridge is the most secure bridge possible. If they didn't understand that, they wouldn't have done this, right? So this is, I think, for us, top of mind.
Okay, cool. I think Hyperbridge and the Mimer have put a lot of efforts on the security, and also I think Mimer also put a lot of an emphasis on the usability. So, and I've seen a lot of recent updates. Could you walk us through, some of the most important ones?
Okay, and I try to share the screen, and if you can put it on. Oh, great! Many thanks. So for now, we have integrated 12 Polkadot ecosystem apps. It's been much more than previously, and now we have on board Region X, which is for call time, and also we on board Polka Assembly, and also bounties for bounty curators to manage their bounty with more easier way. And also, our recent update, also, since Sean is here, so we would really like to have a chance to let Hyperbridge integrate Mimi SDK in the future. Also, if we have EVM and substrate version, after that, user will have more multi-sig user will be much easier to transfer across chains. And then about our recent UX improvement, and we do really appreciate the help from UX Bounty. They provide audit to us, and we learn a lot about the past shortcomings, and now we are continuous to improve them. So the most obvious change is the new layout, and from in the homepage you can see your assets, your favorite apps, your pending transaction, and your account structures, and you can do everything in all these things in one page. And also, sometimes people don't really know much about Mimir's like features, template, and batch transaction. Now it's in the right sidebar, and user can like to show it in every page. And also we find we recognize some transaction related pages like pending transactions, where we make this page more clear. And also when people want to submit transaction, we will have a cross-chain simulation, and we have more like clear layout for now. And also our creation process used to be very easy, and people may not understand the whole process is what is multisig. But now users can it's like they are creating, and also they are using they are learning what is multisig and also proxy. And also we have added notification for all these transactions, and also users can try to set email notification and push notification if they receive new transactions. Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Thanks for sharing. When I open the web page, a short video pops up introducing new features, and which really makes the approachable and very user friendly. So, can you give us a sneak peek of what's going on next, and maybe some of the bigger or more innovative features on the roadmap?
Yeah. Except some plan for Polkadot like version and SI migration. The most important thing for us is multi-sig AI bot, and we want to AI to help people in two key ways. The first thing is explain rules and errors. The multi-sig palettes have a lot of rules and like some deposit. You should know deposit. You should know like time delay proxy and pure proxy, and to make your multi-sig flexible. And also you may met some error during your transaction. So I think AI will be the best way to help users know what problem they're meeting. Second thing is fast navigation. Like user just to state what they want, like transfer some token to address A, and we will handle this. We will lead the users to the exact page, in like transfer page, and fill all these blanks for users. Or also we can connect to third-party apps. Like if people want to say, I want to vote on proposal 1111, and user just to click the link AI provide, and they will go to Polkadot Assembly or Subsquare and to this referendum. Also, we are very happy to see like there now are 3 DVs applied. 3 DV are exploring AI. So I think it's clear the ecosystem is ready for AI, and Mimir is aim to make multi-sig in Polkadot smoother, safer, and more accessible. Yeah, powered by AI. And also there are some potential updates, like we want to make our product have stronger cross-chain ability, like to integrate more bridges and also other tools. Yeah.
Yeah, Sean, Mimers.
I'm really looking for that.
Okay. Talking about AI, I think Paperman also did a very good job. I already sent a link to the comment, and when you open it and there's an AI, you can ask everything about the Polkadot, and he will respond to you in any language. I have checked with Chinese and what is PVM, and he gave me Chinese response. So Paperman also did very good job on AI, and I think it really can empowers our product a lot. So
I don't wanna take credit, but this is an external provider. We just connect with them. They have a solution, and we plug it in. But yeah, it works really well. I mean, truth be told, you need the documentation to be good for the answer, so that the AI can answer truthfully. Okay, because the AI scans the entire documentation, creates databases around this, and then it helps with the prompt response. So yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah, okay. But it really gives us an idea and how AI can make our product more user friendly. So back to Mimer, and could you multi-sign is very technical stuff, and even though it's a wallet, and it takes a few minutes to walk us through how it works. So could you tell us more about Mimer's user base, who are actually adopting this wallet, and who are the main groups using it, and what concrete benefit does multi-sign bring to them?
Oh, okay. I think I'd better share screen again, and to introduce like our user base. I see some of our users in the in here. Here, my watch list. No Kelstone. They didn't use that. And also Mimir's main users include DAOs, bounties, and developer teams and investors, all with complex account structures, high security needs, and demand for smooth operation. Like for example, like Web3 Foundation's account structure is very difficult. They have 4 levels. And I think Mimir could help them to solve some transaction building issues. And also, let's explain one by one. So first, DAO use Mimir for governance and ecosystem participation, like from voting proposal to like hydrations, liquidity mining, yard farming. And also bounties relies on multisig, and bounties curators are a kind of multisig, like multisig with pure proxy. So they can manage their bounties via Mimir, also with bounties, or use our template features. Sometimes a bounties transaction could include around more than 5 transactions. So it's a very huge number. So they need some tools to help them rather than build this transaction from scratch. And also some developers use Mimir like project chains to do some asset management and on-chain admin tasks, some often with Polkadot JS. And also some investors manage funds securely with multisig while enjoying convenience feature like staking dashboard. They can enjoy it safe and make their asset amount get bigger. I think so. Mimir's advantage lies on the combining of third-party integration with some some native features tolerated to users' needs. And so it will make multisig management in Polkadot both secure and seamless. Yeah.
Okay, cool. It really helps a lot of people. So thanks for sharing. And to wrap up our conversation, there's a last topic I want to touch on. Polkadot has long been recognized as a very tech-driven ecosystem, but at the end of the day, and it's a market that decides whether a technology is real useful. So with these breakthroughs in multi-sign, bridging, and virtual machines, and do you see any application scenarios where could make a real impact? Anyone can start us off here.
I mean, I can start. I think that Polkadot has always been seen as tech-driven, as you mentioned. I think that's true. But more than the market deciding if the technology is truly useful, because like Polkadot technology is actually useful, right? I think that the main problem is how accessible the technology is, right? And you often hear that Polkadot is extremely technically very complex, which is true. Like, I've been part of a team launching a project on Polkadot, and it's a fairly complex like thing, right? Before there used to be a lot of breaking Polkadot SDK upgrades and stuff like that, and things have improved on the stability of the Polkadot SDK upgrades and so on. But still, I think Polkadot for a long time was catering a something that didn't have a lot of demand, which was like, I want to build my own blockchain, right? And I think for now the realization has been that for some time there was a boom of L2s like popping left and right, but they were not really like doing something much differently with one another. And so I think, for example, launching a smart contract platform, a native smart contract platform on Polkadot makes a lot of sense, because this will be governance driven, and then using DOT as a sort of like underlying fee token, and that will bring a lot more usability to the Polkadot ecosystem as well, right? Because the amount of people that want to develop a smart contract based project, it's way higher than the amount of people that want to launch a chain. And not only launching a chain, but launching a chain in a fairly complex system, which you have to think about multiple moving parts, which is like block producers, RPC providers, and other things, right? And so when you go to a smart contract platform, you have a lot of services as a given, right? For example, you'll have a bridge via Hyperbridge, you'll have a wallet via Mimir, you'll have a DeFi ecosystem already built up. While when you're building your own blockchain, you got to make sure that your application needs a blockchain, right? Because when you build your own blockchain, you'll be completely isolated, right? If you need a wallet system, a multi-sig system, you'll need to develop it yourself, or if you use the multi-sig palette from Polkadot SDK, then you need like a front end, an application, you need alerting and monitoring, etc., right? And so I think, truth be told, like making Polkadot a little bit more accessible by having a native smart contract platform will be the first a step in the right direction. So yeah.
Yeah, I think Polkadot is working on that direction. There's a PDP, a Polkadot development portal is going to launch soon.
Polkadot deployment portal, and the idea with it is that it's going to make it easier, right? Like the idea is that you're going to be able to choose a template. For example, I want to launch an EVM compatible smart contract platform and launch it, but still, there are still some technical things here. Like you need to have a set of block producers, or what we call collators. So you need infrastructure, and so it's not. It's taken a step in the right direction with PDP, but there are some technicalities that that are not that easy to go around it, and so yeah.
Okay, cool. So Sharon, what's your take on this?
I mean, I think the Polkadot platform has definitely matured since, when it first launched. And I say this as someone who's also been building for over 2 years in the space. Like it's gotten less painful is my summary of things. And I still think that there's lots of lots of ways to go. For instance, with Hub, sort of reducing the barriers to entry to building on Polkadot is super important, right? Like launching a parachain is super expensive, because essentially you have to hire the most cracked Rust developers. These are the most expensive people in the software market, versus just being able to hire like some random like smart contract developer. There's tons of, there's a huge market for these people, and they're less expensive in general. Also like maintenance and deploy and like DevOps costs. So like maintaining the infrastructure for your network is super expensive versus just deploying a contract and letting the network handle everything, right? So these are the ways in which I think the Polkadot platform can definitely improve. And I'm just really excited and looking forward to Hub and all of the new applications that will enter the Polkadot ecosystem as a result of this.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, that's really, you have to lower the access of for developers to enter into this ecosystem. That's the point. So last but not least, Tiny, do you have something to add for this point?
Yeah. As Alberto and Sean said, like with the development of Polkadot Hub, we will have more like mirror DeFi apps like RVE or Uniswap can migrate to Polkadot directly, and to show Polkadot's high TPS, low fees, and strong security and the flexible cross-chain features. Show all these things to Polkadot users, and also. More apps will attract more capital and greater demand for secure asset management. So we will keep building the target to help this new project to onboard more smoothly. And also looking ahead, we will have an idea, and maybe we can have further talk with Alberto if you would like to. We want to enable substrate and EVM account interoperability. Like you can use EVM multisig and the substrate multisig in one platform, and so it will help to let the users enjoy the more seamless experience. And our goal is simple: to build a powerful tool and give user a freedom to choice.
Yeah, developer friendly and user friendly, lower their entry point. Yeah. Okay, cool. Thank you for sharing, and thank you for all the audience to be here today. And we've touched the main breakthroughs from these three projects, and we will surely closely focus on their development. So I recommend everyone to follow each of our guests, and you can follow Polkadot as well, and we will keep closely to the coming up developments. So I think that's all for today's conversation, and thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone, and until next time.
Thank you for the invite. Bye.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks
Bye.
for having me. Bye.
Bye bye. Okay, and